This is the Two Scrappy Chicks podcast where life is messy, the stories are real, and we dare to talk about it anyway.
Because
Hey, welcome back. A little behind here, but Friday was my birthday, and I wanted to I had to work my physical job, and yesterday I had to work my physical job. So I just took a little break from podcasting. So sorry, this is coming out a little late. So, Real Housewives of the OC. We start out with Jen and Vicky going to a med spa lounge. And throughout the whole episode, we hear Vicky saying, I'm not a Debbie Downer. It's funny. Okay, then we are next we're at Camilla's house and Emily comes over and Camilla doesn't agree with Vicky saying she isn't a developer and that she also mentions that she um, asked Jen to join her on the next project and Emily's like, well, what is she going to do? Well, pick out tile, help with the design, you know, for about 20K. And Emily gasps and she's like, okay. And people are having a fit over a 3K bag that you gave me, and you're gonna pay Jen 20K. And Emily's like, pay me 20K, I'll do it. And Vicky does not like braggers. She feels that I don't know that there's something to it, like they're hiding something or that. So, um, Tamra asked Vicky, "Is it okay to bring her to Vicky's dinner and wine thing?" And Vicky kind of gives a look, but yeah, Tamra's gonna do it. So back to Emily and Carmela talking. And Carmela talks about in her past quite a bit ago that she violated a restraining order, that an ex of hers had a restraining order against his ex. And somehow she happened to be around her at an event and she got a drink in her face from her friend. Or is this what happened? Yeah, and then convicted of an arrest. Oh, of a restraining order. It's kind of weird. I really didn't understand the story, to be honest with you. I'd probably have to look it up and get a better explanation of it. So next we have Tamara. She goes and sees Sophia in her new apartment, and Tamara's taking it harder than she thought without, not having her at home. And um, hmm, Tamara said she put her on birth control because she doesn't want, any surprises because Tamara was very young when she had her first kid. Gosh, he's almost 40. Okay, so Vicky, Shannon, Gina, and Heather go to dinner. And Vicky again, I am not a Debbie Downer, throughout the dinner. Shannon said she likes the new Tamara, but she's afraid of the roller coaster. Heather is upset with Emily from Tamara's party and what was said. And Heather said, I didn't come from a warm family growing up. And Heather's like, I should talk to Emily. Shannon and Shannon and her dad. So this like They don't say like next day that they just skip it and then we see light again. So it's Shannon and her dad out to eat. He's 97. He looks good for 97. And Shannon said she's working on her finances and that um hold on. She wanted to go back to she's working on her finances and then she was talking to her dad about how when they lived, I think it was like San Diego or something. But she wanted to go back to LA. This is back in her childhood. So, next, uh, Gina, um, goes and sees Tamara, and then she's talking about her stepdaughter had to have an emergency appendectomy, and she's trying to stay out of it, but her stepdaughter wanted her there. And I get it. Uh, although I have two stepdaughters and I was there for them. Did nothing but go out of my way for them, but their mother has her own agenda of filling their heads with lies, since the divorce. And not only I'm estranged with them, but now my husband is, and it's kind of sad that people have that kind of control over other people and people don't have their free will to think for themselves. Okay. Next, Jen and Carmela, um, at dinner. And then Gina. Okay, so this is the dinner. This is Vicky's dinner. And this is when it gets heated where Gina's like, here's a Dior bag and something to masturbate with. She was talking to Carmela. And Gina was just saying that it's weird, that she didn't like it. And, she told Emily, but here was Gina thinking she was hoping that would be private. But now that Carmela knows, Gina feels, awkward and she feels like something is wrong with Carmela to do that. And Vicky thinks Carmela is a liar, because the whole developer thing that she says. Carmela doesn't like wine, so she has vodka in her pocket. She brought vodka in her pocket. She said last time she had wine, she took off all her clothes. So, yeah, she's staying away from the wine. And um Vicky. Oh, Emily. Emily and Vicky have a conversation and she's like, I miss the old Vicky, and Vicky said, "Don't worry, I am coming back." And Emily and Heather have a conversation, and Heather says, she was upset with what was said, and Emily says, like, you told me to be quiet, and Emily's like, no, I said you've been talking all night, give me a chance. And Emily says that she's standing up for herself and she will not let herself to be, walked on. So, um, okay. Okay. So then Gina was um entering in the conversation, and Emily said, I don't need you. This is my conversation. And Gina took the wrong way, and she's like, I'm your best friend. I don't like to hear you don't need me, this and that. And Emily is like, you know, she apologized how that came out. She just wanted to handle the conversation with Heather herself without being, interrupted. And back to Carmela, and Carmela apologizes if she offended anybody. And then they all tell Carmela, we're all going to send you our birth dates, so we can get a purse and a dildo. And I guess Carmela had said Emily, had rubbed her the wrong way. And Gina's like, that's my best friend. And Carmela says she asked too many questions, you know, and to her, it's weird. And um, Carmela said she felt insecure and exposed because of all the questions. Well, Emily is a lawyer. She's not a practicing one right now. And Emily was just trying to get to know her. And she apologized that if she came out like that. And Carmela says, I just don't like to spill everything, you know. And Gina, um, what the heck? I wrote it on small paper, so I'm just like, make it make sense. And when I wrote it yesterday, my notes, I wasn't falling asleep. Okay. All right. So Gina does something about flash her around, but I don't know. Let's skip that part, whatever it is. But Gina is intrigued by what Carmela does, and she says, "Don't put me in a box. You were bothered by her questions. Why did you, buy it? I guess the dildo, and I guess she was, the Dior bag, 3,000 bag was a good gesture, and I guess she just wanted to be funny." And Carmela doesn't appreciate Vicky calling her a liar that she's not a developer. Vicky says she's not a developer, she's a flipper because of what she does. People buy a house, she, you know, designs it like they, remodel it, and Vicky's calling that a flipper. So, because Vicky said her future husband is a developer, so that's when the banter was going on. And Gina says to Carmela and to the whole table, this is where I want to be, making that kind of money, doing that kind of stuff. And Carmela felt like all those questions and that and how she was treated, she felt like it was a sorority, um what do you call it? Sorority, like uh, like almost like a when you're trying to get into a sorority. I can't remember. You know how they have that hazing and stuff like that. You got to do stuff to get into sorority. I don't know why I cannot remember initiation, a sorority initiation. So then Gina says, you know what, for now on, I will call you, give me your number. And Carmela is okay with that. And then everybody is all hunky dory and apologizing. Um, there doesn't seem to be a lot of drama so far, but I guess next week they go to Vegas, and maybe that's when it starts. So, and I heard, and I did not see, they dropped the trailer for Salt Lake City Housewives. I think it starts next month, but I have not seen it yet, so this should be good. And I think they did a little late start because one of the cast members lost their son by, I think he, um, I think he unfortunately took his life. So, and then I heard Beverly Hills is starting to film now. So yeah, and then I think the girls' trip should be airing soon, so I'll be doing a recap on that. So, all right, lesson learned. Don't write on the small frickin' paper because it was just too confusing. But yeah, pretty much that sums it up of what happened on the Housewives of OC. All right, till next time. See ya. We really appreciate you hanging out with the two scrappy chicks today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, download, and share it with a friend. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, just let us know.